योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
Namaskar. First of all, I would like to thank UGC HRDC Gujarat University. I'm happy to see that UGC HRDC Gujarat University is organizing various academic programs under the visionary leadership of Professor Dr. Jagdish Joshi. UGC HRDC Gujarat University is organizing various short-term courses, refresher courses, faculty development programs, orientation programs, Guru Dakshita, etc. Friends, today we will discuss about Bloom's taxonomy, what is Bloom's taxonomy, and social science teachings. Bloom's taxonomy means a lot for the students' cognitive development of undergraduate and postgraduate. In this regard, while I am discussing about pedagogy of Bloom's taxonomy, we must discuss it at the level of social science teachings. Let me ask a question to ourselves, that do we really go through this taxonomical teaching? And if no, then we must know that how far it is important for the students' overall development. We must discuss it while students of arts and humanities are facing the problems of employment. We should give them the education which increase and develop their cognitive level. So, first of all, let me discuss about Bloom's taxonomy. Credit to develop this taxonomy goes to Benjamin Bloom, and it later revised by Lauren Anderson. Benjamin Bloom was an education psychologist. He contributed classification of educational objectives and theory of mastery learning. Bloom and some other collaborators, Max Engelhardt, Edward First, Walter Hill, and David Crathworth, have introduced a taxonomy in the year 1956. So what is taxonomy? The word taxonomy comes from two Greek words, taxis and nomos. Taxis means arrangement and nomos means science. Ultimately, it is a science of arrangement. In academia, taxonomy is a scientific process of classification. Classification and arrangement of plant, animal, microorganism, and even content also. Bloom's taxonomy. In short, taxonomy is a classification. Bloom classified three domains that are cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. These are knowledge-based, emotion-based, and action-based. Personality is of individual developed on the base of these three domains. This is specially designed for the educators to develop higher cognitive abilities and critical thinking in students. This taxonomy is widely used in the education setup nowadays. See, what is the best education? Best education is that which prepares students to survive in any critical condition, which prepares students to decide their goals and helps to achieve it, which prepares students for lifelong socio-economic sustainability, which make them capable for employability and being employer. These are the modern objective of the education. Now, we have to raise a question that are we really giving the right education to the students of higher education? It is most important question while national education policy will implement soon. Today, I have to discuss Bloom's taxonomy and its utilization in social science teachings. Yes, definitely, Bloom's taxonomy is not that much hard to understand, but is it that much easier to implement, especially for the students of social sciences and humanities? So again, what is Bloom's taxonomy? As we seen earlier, in 1956, Benjamin Bloom with collaborators Max Egelhart, Edward First, Walter Hill, and David Krathwohl published a framework for categorizing educational goals, taxonomy of educational objectives, that is known as Bloom's taxonomy. This framework has been applied by K-12 teachers to the college as well as university teachers, or we can say the instructors. Bloom's taxonomy is a system of hierarchical model arranged in a rank with some elements at the bottom and some at the top. So Bloom's taxonomy is a system of hierarchical model used to categorize learning objectives into varying levels of complexity. Bloom's taxonomy is very useful in planning and design courses as well as training within every aspect of education. This taxonomy intended to classify learning objectives for students from recalling facts to producing new and original work. This framework consisting 6 major categories, that is knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. All these 6 categories mentioned in the pyramid included in this cognitive domain. You can see in this pyramid, this domain is involving knowledge and development of intellectual skills of students. In this regard, this domain is most important. While discussing about knowledge, it comprises knowledge of terminology, facts, symbol, conventions, trends, criterias, methods, knowledge of classification, knowledge of rules and principles, etc. All the categories after the knowledge are indicating skills and ability. So you can see it again. All the 6 categories mentioned in pyramid. So the first is knowledge, then understanding, then application, then analysis, then synthesis, and evaluation. So this is Bloom's taxonomy, and these are the major classifications of it. So let me talk about cognitive domain. This is presented that knowledge is prerequisite for putting all the remind skills and abilities into practice. We can see in the writings of Jacques Derrida and Michel Foucault indicating the knowledge is power. Discussing about the today's era, it is fact that knowledge is power. This knowledge manifests from oneself and accumulated through curiosity, aspirations, and interpretative abilities. Knowledge is also the interpretative assimilation and revelation of the various phenomena in the world. In this regard, knowledge is prerequisite for putting these skills and abilities, such as comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation into practice. Cognitive domain and social science teachings. So this is the most important part of today's session, that cognitive domain and social science teachings. As far as I know, mostly social science teachings are done on the base of the level of knowledge in which students have to do writing, listening, defining, etc. Furthermore, explaining, summarizing, and describing. Teachers are rarely using application and analysis level, except some statistical and economical subject. Application refer to the use of abstraction in particular and concrete situation. Here we have to think that how students can use, compute, solve, and apply his knowledge. Sociological and other social science teachers have to thought about this domain, and particular these two levels, that are application of knowledge and analysis. Regarding the analysis, students should be able to think that why such things has happened. Students could be able to distinguish, classifies, and relates the evidence or structure of a statement of question. While we think that students' research ability should develop, we should focus to develop their application, analysis, and evaluation skill. We know that the research need that kind of abilities. Our teaching method should be live and appropriate at some extent, comprising these levels. Teaching should be like students can develop the abilities to analyze, compare, categorize, and separate. So this is the cognitive level. Let me focus on affective domain. Affective domain is a second domain of Bloom's taxonomy. This domain is connected to the emotions development. 5 levels moving through the lowest order process to the highest. So first is receiving. Here you can see receiving, responding, valuing, organization, and internalizing values. So receiving, here learner is willing to pay attention and listen with respect. It is about students' memory and recognition. Then that is responding. Here, learner actively responds and participates. Here, they react and respond. So that is why the second level is responding. Here, students are reacting and responding. And then third is value. Here, students are placing values on a behavior, idea, person, institution, etc. And this is similarly an important topic in readings, writing, and interpreting. Then organization. Fourth is an organization. You can see over here. So here learners prioritizes values and resolve conflict between them. Here learner can put together different values, ideas, information, etc. in a particular scheme. Organizing is also an important part of this taxonomy, as well as we can say in psychomotor domain. which is strengthening students' organizing abilities. This is a question of research in social science. We can say that how we will do research. So this is an important domain in teaching and researching. Organizing is a skill which means a lot to be successful researcher. Then the last one that is mentioned over here, it is internalizing values. Here learner's value system is internalized and control his or her behavior. So this is the part of characterization. Here learners are trying to build an abstract knowledge. So we should focus on this affective domain for the students, affective development. So here we have to focus on this affective domain for students, affective development. In the challenging part of the learning, they expect support from their teachers. This is a right time to help them, to strengthen them and characterize them. This domain is connected to their aptitude and attitude. Characterization occupies the highest place among the objective of the emotional level. At this level, the person has fully absorbed the values and his behavior is controlled accordingly. In this regard, for the overall development of the students, this is a domain which needs to focus by instructors very sincerely. It is also connected to the functionality of social system. While students are characterized enough, they can behave properly as a responsible citizen of entire nation. So it needs to focus by the teachers and officers. Next. So the next domain is psychomotor domain. Psychomotor domain of Bloom's taxonomy is connected to the physical movement, coordination and use of the motor skill areas. It describes the ability to physically manipulate a tool or instrument like hand or a hammer. These skills are totally connected to the action of individual, or we can say development of action of individual, which needs mental strengthening to operate complex work or to sustain in complex condition. This domain usually focus on change and development in behavior or in skill. It includes 7 levels that are mentioned over here. The first is perception, second is set, then guided response, then mechanism, then a complex over response, adaptation, and organization. So this is a psychomotor domain and these are its labels. This domain connected to practice, action, accuracy, improving technical skills, and its execution. Ultimately, this domain is indicating teachers strengthening psychological as well as physical skill of students. Ultimately, Bloom's taxonomy is working at 3 levels for the students' development. It has been found that sometimes expect education and psychology, this taxonomy is rarely utilized in social sciences of higher education. We start teaching directly, regardless of the ability and expectation of the students. We want to not only teach students, but also develop their abilities in such a way that they can acquire self-knowledge as well as recognize and develop their skill through it. They can shape their career through its utilization. So, this taxonomy is a hierarchical series of intellectual skills involving the acquisition and use of knowledge that ranges from simple recall to the ability to judge and evaluate learned materials. Bloom has identified 6 levels within this cognitive domain as we have seen earlier. So as we have discussed 3 domains: cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. So Bloom has identified 6 levels within this cognitive domain. So we should ask ourselves that are we really applying this 6 major level of cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy in social sciences, like knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evolution in social science teachings? So friend, today we will discuss about the cognitive domain furthermore. See, Lauren Anderson, a former student of Bloom, and David Crathwood revisited the cognitive domain and made some changes. They rearranged the subdomain mentioned over here. You can see the revised Bloom's taxonomy: remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Here, it seems that creation is an ultimate goal of this taxonomy. Though here we will discuss the cognitive subdomain described by Isaac. Next, cognitive subdomain and social science teachings. Cognitive subdomain and social science teachings. See, first we will discuss about the knowledge. Knowledge is concerned with the recall of specific item. In social science teachings, not only in higher education, but from primary to higher secondary, most of the teachings are on the base of recalling and remembering the content. Even examination pattern also emphasized at this level. Our questions are mostly like explain, discuss, describe, write in brief, etc. So this is a knowledge-based pattern. This is a time to discuss about this pattern. Can teach students to compare, analyze, apply. Can we create a module for the development of students' critical thinking? While we will put it in pattern, we will find less unemployed students in arts. Then second is comprehension. It is also concerned with the recall of things which has been taught, but can do a little more, like paraphrasing, defining, discussion at some extent. Comprehension is a skill which need to develop in students at very second level after knowledge. However, remembering or recalling comprehension help to improve students' internal capacity of defining or discussing label, defining or discussing text, words, conditions, and content. This is most powerful domain in academic system. While students came forward to make a career as a teacher, professor, writer, content writer, or thinker. Then application. Application is definitely connected all of the above, but can take information of an abstract nature and use it in concrete situation. This is a most important label which shows the students' understanding and strengthening of application. That what they learn from their teachers. Here, at higher education level, we have to think about the research methods. For instance, take structural functional theory or conflict theory. Teach it to the students and ask them to apply it. How could you do this? You can ask them to pick up any subject connected to the social sciences and start researching. Thus, they will come to know that how to apply this theory while they do research. Here, I would like to mention that most of the students of social sciences cannot reach up to the level of application except those who are interested in research or those who are doing research. The third side of application can only develop of those who are doing research or interested in it. And then analysis. This is the next level of Bloom taxonomy. Analysis of what? Connecting, interpreting, organizing, comparing, differentiating, categorizing, etc. are the process of analysis. Discriminating, distinguishing, organizing, like finding coherence, integration, outlining, structuring, attributing, etc. are the major keywords to understand the process of analysis at this domain. So why this level is too important to develop the cognitive level of the students? This is an important question, and it should be. We have to design the course and train the students to develop the analytical skill. Are we? Answer is no, because while we're teaching students, most of our design and questions are touching to the knowledge and comprehension level. You can take example of examination. Mostly, we are asking students for describe, explain, discuss, and state. This is a pattern to asking question to the students. Where is comprehension? Where is analysis? Where is application? We have no answer. So our course should design on the base of this taxonomy. This is what I firmly believed. However, in our examination pattern, we should add some comparative questions and give the opportunities to the students for brainstorming. Instead of that, we are not giving opportunities to bring them out from knowledge and comprehensive level. Our goals should make them more competitive and enable them for critical thinking. Then synthesis. The label of construction and constitutions comes after the destruction and distributions. Synthesis is a label where students' internal ideas are awakening. This is a competitive label according to me. This is a fifth cognitive label of Bloom's taxonomy. Most important part of the Bloom's taxonomy is this. It is because it refers to the construction, constitution, creation, production, inventions, designing, classification of information, plans of operations like research proposal, etc. This label is directly connected to the ability of students for something unique plans, creations, and inventions. Improving ability for generating something new or which is not implemented or found till today in particular field. For instance, we should ask our students to find those sectors in which very few or no research has been conducted till today. We should ask them to do review of literature and make some research proposal which can be useful for search something new. Then we can discuss about the evaluation. So it makes judgments about the value of materials or methods. Judgment, recommendation, critique, justification, coordination, detecting, monitoring, testing, assessing, etc. are the keywords of the evaluating subdomains. Here students have to judge what they learn, whether it is correct or wrong. It makes judgment based on criteria and standards. It evaluates factual, conceptual, procedural, and metacognitive, which reflects on learners' progress. However, the cognitive domain of this taxonomy is not end over here, as revised taxonomy put the creation in place of synthesis. So here we will see about synthesis. Creation. So here you can see that creation. Creation. It is about to organize or reorganize into a new pattern or structure. A word creation is merely a new invention or put together some elements or parts and make a new whole. It values lot to structure something new. Generating, assembling, designing, etc. are the ultimately a part of creative skills. As a professor, our aim should be develop these creative skills of students. And we have to pass from this entire procedure. However, most of the students of social sciences cannot reach up this level as our pattern of teaching and examination does not suit it. So, to reach up this level of creation, we have to go through this model entirely where students can hypothesize, design, and construct something new. So, this is what creativity means. So let me discuss further more about the application of taxonomy. So how this taxonomy can applicate. See, our relation should be like in which students have to solve the problems. Students have to find the fact, in which students have to refer the references. Which kind of lesson should be designed by the professor and teachers? So here are some answers regarding this taxonomy. So our lesson should be like in which students have to solve the problems, students have to find the fact, students have to refer the references, students have to analyze the content, students have to discuss socio-economic, politico-cultural phenomena, they have to express their views on any phenomena, students have to evaluate, they have to organize content, students have to write their views and ideas, they have to write in particular frame, they have to read and express their views, students should understand the theories, students should be able to applicate comprehension, fact finding, content analysis, etc. Thus, would be able to implement Bloom's taxonomy in social science teachings. Bloom's taxonomy can be used as a teaching tool to help balance assessment and evaluative question in class, assignments and text to ensure all orders of thinking are exercised in students' learning, including aspects of information searching. In social sciences, we need to balance content and skills in our teaching pattern. Bloom's taxonomy is one of them which help us to improve our teaching skills for future generations. So let me discuss about the application of the taxonomy. To apply knowledge, you should ask students to memorize dates and facts included in your lesson. Generally, teachers from social sciences can do it very nicely and easily. It has an important role in sociology, political science, economics, histories, and that kind of subjects. Then, to apply comprehension, you should ask your students to summarize events that happened around a particular time being. Then, to use application. So this is the third subdomain. You should let your student classify facts surrounding your lesson into separate categories. So here your students can be able to classify facts surrounding your lesson into your separate categories. Have them use their knowledge in a novel situation. Your students could be able to categorize of given lesson. As mentioned earlier, from this step, all are useful for the research and analysis. Then to use analysis. So how will you use this analysis? Let your students break down the information got in their lesson they have learned and make correction between events. It strengthens the students' thinking ability and open their analytical side, which means a lot in various fields of occupations. Then application and analysis. Both are broadly important from studying to make their career. So professor like us should focus on this application and analysis. Then synthesize. To use the step of synthesis, your students should be able to create or design something new based on given material or given information they have learned. So this is also an important part of Bloom's taxonomy, that is synthesize. Your student should be able to create or design something new based on the given materials or given information they have learned from you. And the last one is evaluation. To demonstrate evaluation, assign your students an argumentative essay about the outcome of your historical events or historical or contemporary phenomena like passing an important law of country, end of political regime, political party upliftment, socio-political movement, economic reformative steps taken by RBI. Give them assignment to evaluate such kind of phenomena, which strengthen their ability to argue, judge, criticize, and critical thinking. Thus, these are the 6 steps of Bloom's cognitive domain, which is created for the students' educational development, and this taxonomy is very useful for the teachers and professors of the social sciences. Now it's a time to implement this taxonomy wholly in social science teachings. So this is also this taxonomy is also useful to prepare students for research in development and development sector and other sectors connected to the social sciences. So here we can see that what is Bloom's taxonomy and how it is applicable to the social science teachings. Here I am concluding my session. I'm very much thankful to UGC HRDC Gujarat University and especially Professor Dr. Jagdish Joshi sir to give me an opportunity to discuss about Bloom's taxonomy in social science teachings. Thank you. Thank you so much. Namaskar. So, thus we have seen that how to apply Bloom's taxonomy in social science teachings. Now, let me see how Bloom's taxonomy is useful to develop research minds. Research and Bloom's taxonomy. The proper implementation of Bloom's taxonomy reach up to the proper research to the students. Research needs knowledge, comprehension, analysis, application, and evaluation skills that can be developed under this taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy begins with knowledge, or we can say memory, and slowly pushes students to seek more information based upon a series of levels of questions and keywords that brings out an action on the part of the students. We need research-based mind and to develop it. And this is the current demand. While we are talking about the new India, we need the research minds that can be contribute for the development of nation. We need research-based mind, and to develop it, Bloom's taxonomy is a useful tool in social sciences. There are 2 types of dimensions in Bloom's taxonomy that we can see over here. One is knowledge process and second is cognitive process. So friends, knowledge dimension is indicating the content or subject matter which that students will work with. Knowledge dimensions is indicating the content or subject matter that which students will work with. On the other side, while the cognitive process dimensions indicates what students will have to do with that content. Okay, so there are 2 types of dimension in Bloom's taxonomy. One is knowledge process and second is cognitive process. Research is a thing which focus on the question how and why. That means how to do, why to do. I repeat, research is a thing which focus on the two questions, how and why. That means how to do and why to do. So one is indicating the research methods and outcomes. One is indicating the research methods and outcomes, while second is indicating importance of research and outcomes. Ultimately, research should be outcome basis. Means we do research because we want to know or find something new. Bloom's taxonomy is in the base of these types of findings. If we will create that kind of minds in social sciences, in this regards, this is an importance of Bloom's cognitive domain, especially in the context of social science research. Bloom's taxonomy is at most useful tool to create a glance of research. So we should focus on Bloom's taxonomy and to develop research minds. Next, let me discuss about the importance of Bloom's taxonomy. Why Bloom taxonomy should implement it in our institutes as well as should used by teachers and professors. So let me discuss about importance of Bloom's taxonomy. In this digital era, or we can say Google era, I must use the word Google era. In this Google era, Bloom's taxonomy provides a powerful tool to fit today's professors' need. It is a useful tool for the holistic development of students, while it provides the base of teaching through its three dimensions to the teachers, that which we have seen earlier, that are cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, which is useful for students' overall development and also useful to strengthen students' thinking ability. Bloom's taxonomy is aimed at helping educators identifying the intellectual level at which intellectual students are capable of working. So levels like synthesis and evaluation make students more able to identify, analyze, and judge the things, strengthen their critical thinking. It makes them more logical. It is highly useful for teachers and professors to design the appropriate lesson for the students. It able to create appropriate activities, and it is also able to develop relevant instructional strategies. Some scholar wrote about the importance of Bloom's taxonomy. That is, it is important to outline learning objectives in order for both students and instructor to understand the purpose of each exchange in class. Learning goals can be easily classified and understood by both the students and the instructor if the objectives are organized. So here, most important thing is each level reflects the types of activities that the students will perform or practice at the level of understanding. This is what we call application of understanding. So thus we can see the importance of Bloom's taxonomy. So friends, Bloom taxonomy is ultimately using to teach students in a particular way, which students' cognitive level could be strengthened and high by the time. Now, however, it is implementing widely nowadays. Many teachers of the globe are designing the lesson as per Bloom's taxonomy. To develop the skill of critical thinking, This taxonomy is too useful while students' learning is main focus of our education system. This taxonomy may play an important role for our today's education system. So friends, while discussing about this taxonomy, it develops curriculum, design teaching learning strategies, and determines uh, learning experiences necessary for students' learning. While learning and assessment both are a major part of our education system, we should take a glance upon this taxonomy, which encompasses a hierarchical series of intellectual skills involving the acquisition and use of knowledge that ranges from simple recall to the ability to judge and evaluate learned material that we have discussed earlier in this session. This is what Bloom taxonomy is. Today, we have to focus, understand, and try to implement it in social science teachings. By conducting this session, I wish you to refer many more content about Bloom's taxonomy, videos about it, assessment as per this taxonomy, lesson preparation as per this taxonomy, and implement it for the students' cognitive development. Thank you. I hope you enjoy this session. And at the end, I'm very much thankful to UGC HRDC Gujarat University again to give me an opportunity to discuss about Bloom's taxonomy and social science teachings. I'm also thankful to the director of UGC HRDC Gujarat University, Professor Dr. Jagdish Joshi sir, to organize such programs for the faculty development. Thank you so much.